Well, baseball was the reason that I wanted to go to college anyway. I was not a very good student in high school, and being from New Jersey, I could not get into any schools in New Jersey. An alum from Maryville College, was a good friend of my father's, said that I could play baseball at Maryville College and start as a freshman as a pitcher. And that's all I needed to hear. I applied, got in. My parents drove me down, dropped me off at Copeland Hall and said, good luck. Coach at that time was, of course, Coach Baird, Coach Boardson Baird, who was a unique individual, great guy, easy to work with, but when it was time to play ball, when it was time to practice, he was very serious. He was almost like a father to us and very, very kind. We remember our freshman year, we went over there and he had a meeting at his house, and I thought that was odd, but it was so nice. And then he said it was time for ice cream, and we had ice cream. So that was a little different, but we loved it. We did have a good time at times, and Coach knew when to draw the line, and at that point, then we would settle down. In our seasons, I was very fortunate to have 4 seasons. We played Carson Newman, LMU, Bryan College. We would play every game like it was our last game. We just went one game at a time. In 1974, we were fortunate to go 22-10 before the tournament to the NCAA South Regional Tournament. And I guess it was the first appearance of any Maryville College baseball team. We lost to Nicholls State and the University of New Orleans, but I'm certainly still proud of the fact that we did the best we could, and win or lose, we were fortunate to be in that situation. I do remember going down to New Orleans. I think one of the questions was asked that, what was your impression? And my first impression was it was hot, muggy and buggy, and we actually worked out in wetsuits a couple of days ahead. But even when I got down there, I started the first game, and after warming up, just getting ready for the game, I was wringing wet. So it was a little different experience, and I didn't last but 6 innings. So it was, but it was exciting. We had a 50-year reunion with the baseball team to celebrate the team when we went, that year we went to New Orleans. It was obviously very special to see some of the ball players that I haven't seen that live away. And we had an opportunity to exchange our stories. We exaggerated, of course, most of them. But we were fortunate that Maryville College set that up for us. And that was a special time. I don't remember a lot of the scores. I don't remember the win-losses, but I do remember the good times off the field and on the field that I had and still communicate with those ball players as of today. If it wasn't for baseball, I wouldn't be here at Maryville College. I don't know where I'd be. Maybe I'd be, working the lines, maybe in the factory. Baseball was the incentive for me staying in school. And I had a difficult time the first year, learning how to study, and Maryville College academics was, like it is today, challenging academics. So it all came together. Plus my wife, we got married at the end of our junior year, and she came down and straightened a few things out also for me. So the quality of student that Maryville College gets, whether it's baseball, football, science, is stellar. Their academics are important to them, the game's important to them. Maryville College offers a stellar academic program. So these young men that I've come in contact with represent all those quality features, and it's just a pleasure to meet these young men who are polite. Maybe I should have learned something years ago from these guys. I don't think I was that polite. Well, coming from New Jersey, that's my excuse. But very impressed with the young man.
In 1983, I was in South Florida being recruited from a variety of different schools, and I met a young coach by the name of Pat Murphy at Florida Atlantic University. After sitting down with him for just a little bit of time, I didn't want to play for anybody else. I really never visited Maryville College. I committed, but then when I showed up in 1983, Pat Murphy had already moved on. I had my best seasons under Coach Joe Dodd and Coach Ronnie Ramsey. We played in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, so travel north to play baseball was very challenging. The small buses and demanding classwork combined with the 2-month condensed schedule, really brought us all together. Our teams were packed with talent. Wall of Famers Chris Johansson, Pat Moyer, Jason Harbison, and Brett Stanley. They always challenged us to give our best every day. I was blessed to join these teammates in the Wall of Fame after being inducted in 2010. My message now, as it was then, this college changed my life. This time at Maryville College was transformational. I really went from being a quiet, shy introvert to someone who stepped out of their comfort zone to share the passion I have on the field. I grew through the sport that I loved. One of the toughest things I ever experienced was knowing I wouldn't represent the Scots with my great teammates after that final season in 1988. We made lifelong friendships. I graduated from Maryville in 1988 and moved to South Florida. Hall of Fame manager Earl Weaver allowed me to pick his baseball brain, and he encouraged me to become a coach down the road. Once I earned my master's degree, Maryville College head coach Brian Wagert invited me to join his staff as an assistant for 2 years. We had Wall of Famers Clint Bowling, Scotty Klein, and Glenn Cullop. They set the standard for what type of player I wanted to coach in the future. In 1993, coach and athletic director Randy Lambert gave me the opportunity to lead the program. I was the head baseball coach for 14 seasons, and the squads earned 280 victories. When I took the helm, I wanted to create stability in the program. We addressed better facilities thanks to Anderson Lumber Company, and I focused on recruiting young men that I knew would excel within the Maryville College experience. I wanted the right fit for MC, players that wanted to get better each and every day. We started bringing in kids from South Florida, and then later in my career, I focused on the local talent. Our 1995 team set a school record going 28-10, led by Wall of Famer John Rozelle. We played as an independent and were nationally ranked 5 times in the 14 seasons. We finally had a conference title to play for in 2000, and our squads won the first 2 Great South Athletic Conference baseball titles in 2000 and 2001. The program has continued to grow, and I've been a big fan of Coach Washburn, Coach Henry, Coach Church, and now Coach Helton. I was heartbroken when the team was 1 out away from the NCAA tournament under Coach Church. I was actually in the stands. And then I was elated seeing Coach Helton's squad advance to the NCAA regionals for the first time since 1974 and 1977. When I was the national chair of the Division III Baseball Committee, I saw the best Division III baseball had to offer at the World Series. I always left feeling our program was talented enough to compete against these programs, and I still feel this today. Scots baseball is good enough to take the next step competitively. I'm rooting for you, both players and coaches, and look forward to what exciting things you do this season and beyond. I'm exceptionally proud of being a small part of this program's 150-year history. Go Scots!
How I ended up with Maryville was I wanted to go somewhere that I felt, was where I had an opportunity to play right out of the gate, but then also wasn't too far from the house, so my family could come and watch. So my coaches, I remember Coach Washburn, Coach Rappel, and of course Coach Reese. I remember meeting them on one of my first visits, and I knew immediately that I wanted to come play for those guys. I wanted to focus just solely on being a shortstop. But I remember Coach Wash actually came up to me during one of our fall league games. Hey Dean, didn't you pitch in high school? And I was like, yeah, I guess. He's like, hey, just go through a couple innings, and we'll just to get us through this game. So my luck, I did pretty decent. And he comes to me after the scrimmage, and he's like, congratulations, you are now a pitcher. And I was thinking, this is my worst nightmare coming true, But of course, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do whatever I need to do for the team. 6-7 games in, whatever it was, I ended up completely blowing out my elbow and having Tommy John surgery. So I ended my freshman year, and I never had to pitch again, which was cool. Looking back on the years, they were so fun. I have, obviously so many great memories. Times with the guys are the things that you miss the most. You don't really remember the wins and the losses. You just remember the time with the boys. Our head coaches, I had Coach Washburn, then Coach Henry, Coach Church. All great people to play for. The most consistent one obviously is Pokey. We talk about him all the time. I think I can speak for each and every one of us who's ever played for him that we love him and appreciate what he's done. I got a lot of awards. I was Player of the Year a couple years. Ended up being an All-American my last year. Maybe have the hits record and for maybe a single season. in the career, and then maybe a couple others as far as on-base percentage and things of that nature. But baseball is individualized to a certain amount, but also having the teammates, having the coaches around you that push you, keep you humble, and their success as well kind of trickles down to your success. I think that plays a big part of it. So a lot of my stuff that I've accomplished is a tribute to them as well. Everybody I played with had each other's best interests at heart, and that was awesome. And then, basically halfway through the season, when I was hitting, just luckily, I was hitting well over 400, I was like, I got a good chance, if I can just keep this going. And then I kept getting more emails, more calls, more scouts coming, and it kind of just took off from there. We got done with that season, and I was still in contact with a bunch of scouts, and I went to all these different tryouts and things. But then the draft day came. But I was basically just on Twitter, I believe, scrolling through my phone, refreshing the live draft updates, and I saw my name pop up, and that was it. And I was actually at work, just working my normal summer job, and saw it pop up, and I kind of froze. I didn't even know if it was real. And then I got a phone call from the Dodgers, and that was cool. First thing we did, obviously, was you fly out to Arizona, and then you go right into it. It's like day two, you're out there practicing and ready to go, and then a couple weeks later, you're flying out to Utah to play games. So it's like you hit the ground running, and it is 8 to 10 hours a day of baseball, and it is your job. It was a very cool experience, and obviously playing with the best players in the world at the highest level was very humbling and very fun at the same time. I had a pretty nasty thumb injury, which kind of ended my career. I just never really got back to where I needed to be after that, and then decided to hang it up. But don't take for granted any of that time and the experiences I had, because it was so fun, and learned a lot about myself, and learned a lot about the world, and it was a lot of fun. Life is awesome. I'm a fireman now. I got 4 kids, beautiful wife, live out here in Blue Ridge. It is so fun. I'll tell the guys who are new and are coming up, it is a fast 4 years. It is a very fast 4 years, but just grateful for the friends, the teammates, mostly, because there's still guys that I talk to each and every day, that I went to college with, some of my best friends in the world. Coach Helton's doing awesome. I keep up with him, and he's doing great. And the trajectory that he's got him going is really good. I got the privilege to play with him for 1 year, and then him coaching. He's such a great dude, awesome dude. Loves baseball, loves the Scots, and I think he's got a good future there. I'm extremely proud of them, and even the guys, in the past that came through and kind of laid the foundation for the program. Appreciate each and every one of those guys, because they really set the standard for what's to come.